Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. Good evening.
Walaikum salam, sir. Walaikum salam. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
So warmly welcome for another important day for OSHA training. So before you join, we were discussing with Mr. Abbas and Mr. Ravindran, that how we can start today's discussion because we have few minutes for open discussion.
Okay, sir.
So I decided because I got few queries from some safety professionals to get my opinion for this particular question. What they ask is how do you convince your management for safety budget or kind of required resources you require for safety HSE system, for implementation for. So this is one of the, I would say, not greatest but terrible challenge always the safety professional facing in different companies even at different projects, because the top management they don't invest money the way they are investing in other segments of the business. So I just want your opinion. What do you think how you can convince your management to get safety budget or kind of require resources, to ensure effective implementation of HSE system? Then I'll share my opinion also how I was using some techniques or kind of tactics. Any one of you, please. Whatever is coming in your mind, just speak up. Don't worry. We are not here to have 100% correction. Imagine if you are a safety manager and you required 100,000 real for different kind of areas to work in, like you need some people to be trained probably for IOSH or OSHA, and you need to convince your management, or you need some budget for PPs, to buy some appropriate PPs. So even though the management is giving, but these PPs are misfit or they are not appropriate or suitable. Now, if you required 100,000 real, how would you convince your management actually?
We can tell our management regarding the benefit of the safeties.
Okay.
We try to be convince them. So what is we have a benefit, because if they are not following to the safety procedures, how we lost our project, how
Okay.
we facing the troubles of the client.
Okay.
So we just try to be convince our management to be, if this training will be required, so we have a competent person that is not affected to the our progress or work. We try to be convinced like that.
Excellent. So in summary, one way you will be telling the benefits of safety, and the other way you will be giving some threats or some kind of references from the customer standards or the legal standards. So you will try to convince them. Excellent approach, mashallah. Any other opinion, please?
Other opinions, should we have the we just remind him regarding the safeties. We just not forcing, we just convince, try to be just explain to the what we have a benefit for the trainings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
segment wise benefits we should tell them. If
we
we are
should tell
asking for
them, so
trainings, what is the benefit?
because we have to be there is the safety budget. So budget will be supposed to be the management's ask for the, this is a higher budget for the training or some things, resource of incomes. We don't have a much package of the as per the our packages. So we have to be minimize. We try to be save our money, and we because the constructions always want to be keep the budgets. They always but for the safety side, should we have
Yeah.
communications regarding the some showing the benefits of the management? We have to do this one, this one, this one. So like that's we try to be convinced. Always we do that with our management. This is
Excellent, excellent. And imagine if you don't have that much confidence or kind of convincing power, how difficult it would be for you to manage HSE system, you know.
yeah, it's really difficult, sir, if they are not convinced.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that means you have to be emotionally intelligent, you have to be a better motivator, you
Yes,
must be a person having convincing power to convince people to save your safety, you know, more effectively.
yes,
Let me share my point of view, how always in front of board members, how I always convince them to get a full year budget, you know, for all the segments of HSC system, you know. Some segments have fixed budget for sure, you know,
yeah,
and some new budget figures you must require according to the business expansion plans or several other challenges, you know, coming from customer requirements or some kind of legal requirements,
yes,
or
yes,
might be the need of your business as well to enhance your quality and productivity, you know. Otherwise,
yes,
if your employees are sick and your absenteeism is going up, so ultimately your business would be affecting, you know. And that is the reason we can take a strong example of Saudi Aramco. Why do they have LPD, loss prevention department? Why do they have this particular department? Of course, they don't want to see any damages or any kind of property damage or, you know, any sort of terrible incident or accidents. So what I
yes,
always encourage them that we all must strongly believe that we must invest your organization resources into health and safety, especially for the workers, the way we invest in other areas of the business. And this is the way we can have fewer uh, you know, injuries or very less first aid cases, or might be zero accident club can also be achieved. And on the other
yes,
side, if your people are healthy and they're not sick, actually every day they are active, your quality and productivity will go up for sure. And also, I try to convince them that increased safety is good for business. That means you can save for several losses. Like if one accident can destroy the overall goodwill of the business, we can take an example of Bin Laden even. One Makkah incident, they are until today they are crying for business, even though they have some business, but still under direct supervision of Saudi government because the trust is broken, right?
yes, sir.
And no doubt, most of the organization, you know, they have very concerned about the figures. Like they believe their bottom line, their profits will be diminishing if they will invest in safety. Because we didn't tell them, okay, if you will invest that much budget in safety, like 1 million real, these are the 100 million real benefits, you know, to your business if you are investing 1 million in safety. So if they talk in figures, we must also talk in figures, you know, with the right set of calculation, because after all in business everything can be calculated in terms of cash, in terms of investment, right?
Yes, sir.
So that figures are important instead of just talking verbally and not telling them, okay, if you are giving me 1 million, these are the 100 million benefits to your business. Even the new projects, like you mentioned, you can't get new projects until you ensure better, effective health and safety management system. So if the next project opportunity, sales opportunity loss, you calculate is 100 million, if we will not implement HSE system. So these projects, we can't go even for bidding. What I mean is you must talk to them with figures, because businessman is always, more concerned about bottom line or the net profit, or, the gross profit, in other words. They are more concerned to listen their benefits, like you mentioned also. And no doubt, we have to be open to learn, and some, our day-to-day work should give them a confidence that we are saving a lot of lives, we are saving a lot of property damage, we are saving the business from the government, no warning letters. This compliance management is keeping our customer happy. We are having more trust in the market, and most importantly, our brand goodwill.
Right,
Like
sir.
if your company brand already published in the market that you are the best responsible company in terms of quality, health, safety, environment, CSR, corporate social responsibility. So you have excellent caring system, especially for your employees, even for your customers, to take care of their products and services, whatever you are offering them. So this brand goodwill, even you don't need to go for bidding sometime, because customer will start coming to you. And this is the ultimate benefit to the business also, because your brand goodwill should be optimized at a global level. So the other customers should come automatically to you. Like if Schlumberger is there, I noted personally also in one of the project, so the Aramco officials called them and they just awarded contract to Schlumberger, just having some terms and condition to be signed. And with some negotiation, they immediately awarded contract to Schlumberger to manage our rig number this, rig number this. That means they are presenting Saudi Aramco because of their positive goodwill. Schlumberger didn't go for bidding. Aramco is calling them, okay, this is the opportunity for you guys. And why they are giving these opportunities? Because they believe they are the responsible brand. They have effective health, safety, environment, CSR compliance system in place, and they consider their employees as of their number one customers. They truly have a caring system for their employees, for their health, for ensuring they are not getting in. They're giving them safe haven, like kind of a safe work environment. All welfare facilities are there. Employees, whenever the customer is coming for audit and they have one-to-one interview with our employees, all employees are happy, because they will say the company management have strong health and safety system and we all are happy here. We get salaries on time. We have first aid facilities quite easily available. We have better housekeeping, through the janitorial staff members. Our environment is excellent because the noise level is well controlled. Even the air pollution is not there. Even the right set of PPs are being provided to us. So if your employees are happy and they start talking here and there that you are the best brand, then the market will start responding. You don't need to go for bidding for sure. I hope you got the point. So we have to tell them the maximum benefits, and then the top management, of course, they will start demonstrating and they will start supporting you. And a time will come, surely they will say, look, Mr. Safety Manager, you have open budget for safety, but we don't want to see any accident. We don't want to see any property damage or any dissatisfactory dissatisfactory, any of our interested parties, including government, our customers. So surely they will listen you, and then no problem for the budget. But talking all these things, explaining in front of the board members or the top management officials without any pressure or controlling your nerves and talking more confidently, that is another area where we all have to be brilliant or excellent in terms of better communicator.
Sir.
Sometimes you have strong words, but very low confidence to talk to your top management. Unnecessarily certain pressures or perceived pressures you might have in your mind. And if your tongue is trembling in front of them or your legs are shredding up, are they going to listen you carefully? Of course not. So that means our safety leadership have to be doubt free or confident all the way, because they have to prove that they are there for the benefit of the business, not for their paycheck every month. Yes, we need pay, but we are earning our paycheck by ourselves, by giving a lot of benefits to the business. Like if company is paying me, let me give you an example. If company is paying me 100,000 real per month, why they are paying me 100,000 real? Surely they are getting maybe 100 million real benefit from me. Intangible benefits or kind of tangible benefits also. But we never calculated how much benefit the organization is getting from us, from the safety professionals, from the quality department, even from project management and all that. We don't calculate in terms of money how much benefit we are giving to the organization, but organization is calculating they are paying 100,000 real per month. That means 1.2 million per year. So remember, company will never pay high salary until they get maximum benefit to have you within their organization, right? So it's a win-win situation. It's a two-way process. It's a given and taken actually. And yes, sometimes you have to be straightforward. Sometimes you have to be little bit aggressive also, because if company is not taking care of safety system, that means no benefit of you. You'll be just kind of a formality within this organization or at this project. And I always encourage to the safety leadership, please go for some other training like emotional intelligence, time management, decision making, conflict analysis, stress management, effective safety leadership. Like the side by courses we never focused on. Might be we have a lot of safety knowledge, but we don't know how to be an effective communicator, in front of our top management especially, or in front of our customers even. I hope it will help, because if we don't get budget, what is the benefit of all of the safety discussions?
Right, sir.
That's why I added this question, and thank you very much for your participation and contribution. Now, another question we can ask to ourselves, being an experienced person, why still accidents are happening? What are the real root causes, especially in construction industries? Why still we are having fatal accidents, especially in construction industry, and what are the real root causes? I'm not talking about bookish knowledge like from OSHA, from NIBOSH, IOSH, or any other body. No. I'm talking to your experience, your intelligence, your common sense. What do you think? Why accidents are happening? What are the real root causes? You can unmute your
The
mic.
most of the cases is the carelessness.
Okay, in most of the cases, it's carelessness.
Carelessness.
Okay. And we have to be honest with this discussion because we are talking and sharing our experience, you know. I do agree the carelessness is one of the fatal root cause, you know. If a person is careless, even for a moment, even for a second sometime, it will bring a fatal accident, you know, for the business. Any other opinion, guys?
Carelessness and not following those safety rules and untrained, incompetent persons.
Excellent. Okay.
Shortcuts is a more mostly the people are using the shortcut. Shortcut is the more dangerous also.
Okay. I totally agree with you because shortcut means every time you can't be lucky. Any other opinion, please? I'm talking to your experience, mashallah, because everyone is unique, like a library. You have, you know, certain situations faced, and that's why you are experienced professional. So I'm talking to you actually, not to the books.
Yes, sir. Ignorance.
Ignorance, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pressure of the management force. Management
Okay,
force.
that means the overloaded or kind of,
Overloads. Yes.
yeah, excessive workload
Accessible.
or
Yes.
unnecessary pressures because of poor planning even, because sometimes your plan is not effective or you miss several areas during planning. You know, you are confused at the project site, you know. Excellent, mashallah. Think a little bit more, you know, because we have to think like a doctor because, yeah,
Taking shortcuts on the job.
absolutely right. True. And like we discussed earlier, if management is not committed or we have a poor leadership, that means no positive trickle down effect, you know. Like if a general manager is not serious or you damn care about safety system or kind of safety rules and regulations, what kind of culture would be there? So guys, this is the top 20 root causes of fatal accidents, and 95% of my students, I can claim, everybody mentioned shortcuts, you know. No, the shortcuts means we have to dig out, we have to further dig out the causes of shortcuts, you know, why people love to take shortcuts actually. Like, is it a human nature? Or they just want to keep their boss happy, or it's just a time saving from the company side, or we are saving some money and we bypass safety rules and regulations. And if our intention is to keep our boss happy, that means you will be accepting all their instructions, because you want to keep your boss happy. If your boss is saying go to Riyadh from Kuwait within 1 hour, and you accepted and you started driving 200 km/h, ready to kill yourself, God forbid, for your manager, right? Or if you have a short ladder and the ladder size is not enough and still you accept it, the scaffolding is not safe, but still you accepted to work in. The grinder is missing guard, but still you accepted to work. So acceptor is the biggest issue, I'm telling you. But yes, it is not easy to say no, or really hard to say yes every time, because the job security by nature, naturally everybody needs that confidence, my job is secure. Anyhow, just for your information, these are the top 20 underlying or visible root causes, what my students highlighted as per their experience. And mostly agreed for shortcuts, carelessness, ignorance, no attentiveness, distracted mind, Mentally, you are somewhere else, but physically, you are available at your site. Poor knowledge, overconfidence, unsafe facts, conditions, defective tools and equipment, no use of PPs. You provided PPs, but they don't like to use them actually. Or they are using the moment you are visiting at site. And the moment you came back to your office, they don't want to use again. And a lot of students mention, no effective trainings. Trainings are there, but effectiveness is missing. Excessive workload, like you mentioned earlier, poor communication, not following the safety rules and regulations, poor leadership, number 15. No value to work permit. No joint site inspection, but documentation is there. No value to safety system, poor preparation, and one of the terrible word, no self-realization. As an individual, we don't believe that this is my safety is my responsibility, first of all. It starts from me, it starts from you. Then we can blame to our safety department, First of all, I must be the safety manager of my own area. I should accept the ownership instead of always blaming to the safety department. Now, how can we avoid from incidents and accidents? What do you think if all these root causes you evaluated like a doctor, you diagnosed? Now, what is the solution actually? What should we do? Because ultimately, we have to try to avoid from incident or accidents. Can we achieve 100% safety? Yes, guys, can we achieve 100% safety?
Yes, we can achieve to follow the rules and procedures.
Okay. But the challenge is maintainability, sustainability, right? Every day, every second, every day. Like if you have 12 hours shift, 43,200 seconds every day is a challenge.
Yes, sir.
And if you have 100 employees, so each employee is having 43,200 seconds at your side. So that is why it's the greatest challenge. We required a teamwork, janitor to general manager. Everybody should be responsible, especially to follow safety rules and regulations, and they should support each other. It's
Right.
not like only your safety, even the safety of your colleagues or whoever is working nearby your business processes,
Right, sir.
Now, I need your opinion. How would you define hazard?
Hazards we can define. Take the any kind of materials. There is the method of MHDS. We
Okay.
can read and explain to the peoples regarding the involving hazard in these chemicals, or we can discuss through to the JSA regarding the hazard, but how they are going to the work and what is the relative hazard will be mentioned, and what is the precaution will be taken. So
Okay.
in the work site there is a hazard. Every work have a, and there is a present risk and hazards. So we have to be make sure the area before start of the any activity, the precaution will be taken before start of the work.
Okay. So that means anything which can be harmful, we can consider as a hazard, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
potential source of harm, in other words, can be
Right, sir.
substances, can be circumstances, even kind of some different kind of hazards, by example, we can discuss later on even. Because at the end, ultimately, we don't want to get any danger to our health, life, property, or even to the environment, right?
Right, sir.
And the biggest purpose of hazard recognition to ensure better health and safety of our employees, to reduce our absenteeism because we don't want to see sick people at our side, and ultimately we want to keep safe our property. We don't want to see any damage to the environment or our property. And nobody likes, by the way, the accidents, but hazard is the foundation of different accidents. That is why it is important to control them or to eliminate them or to isolate them, right? Now, what is risk then? I'm talking to your experience, not to the books, okay? What is risk? Like imagine you have electrical hazard. Now, what is risk associated with this
Yeah,
electrical hazard?
every activity is invisible to the risk. Like
Excellent.
electrical, for the electricals, have electrical chance to be electrical shock,
Mm-hmm.
electrical shocks, or chance to be explosions, damaged cables, and
Absolutely right. But the point is, we have to measure the possibility or probability of, to calculate the uncertainty, how it can affect to.
yes,
So that means it's a chance, it's a probability associated with all hazards, all activities, all processes, in other words. Now, one more
Right.
question. Now, what is safety then? I'm talking to your experience, not to the books, I'm telling you. Bookish knowledge is everywhere. As per your understanding, what is safety? Like Saudi Aramco says, safety means it's a freedom from risk.
Yeah.
That's what
It is like
they
that.
believe, you know, safety is.
Safety is, we are calling sometimes if safety is very easy to be follow the safety rules like ABC. Always follow
Always
the,
be careful.
yeah, yeah. We just, yeah.
Always be careful, yeah.
Hmm.
So that means it's a state of being safe, right? From any sort of danger or harmful conditions, which can lead to certain kind of hazards, you know, while everybody should feel safe at our side.
Right.
So otherwise, if our employees are under threat all the time, oh, my safety is in danger, my safety is in danger, I'm unsafe at this site. So what they're gonna do? How long they will be working there? That is why now the best professionals, they always calculate, okay, should I join this company? Because their top management, they damn care about safety rules, regulations, and all the safety professionals mostly are failed there. So why should I join them? That means before joining any new organization, you must evaluate their positive goodwill or negative goodwill. You must study about this organization, you know, before you finalize your decision. Because the world is so big, you have millions of companies. And if you are jobless, even 1 week, regular 8 hours, search job online and you will find plenty of options here. Now, another question is, in construction industry, we have several walking and working surfaces. But what hazards normally you guys are facing?
Slip, trip.
Okay. Okay. And you know, this walking and working means
Yeah.
you have ladders, you are working through the ladders, walking on them, working at height. You have scaffolding, you are working,
Right.
you are using stairs, even the floor. Imagine if the floor is not leveled or the floor is having some oil spillage or unnecessary items are lying here and there, having slip, trip, and fall hazard.
Right, sir.
So several hazards categorically we need to understand, especially at the construction site. And yes, I agree, which you mentioned, you know, slip and trip. Slips and trips, actually, these are, and on the other side, remember, fall is the #1 cause of fatalities globally. And I personally noted mostly the construction sites, you know, especially in Middle East, have a lot of violations of safety rules and regulations, a lot of unsafe acts. And really hard to catch them also, you know, because they are very clever. The moment you are visiting the site, everything is okay. The moment you left, again, they have the same junky mindset, you know, to follow their own set of rules. And I noted a lot of unnecessary materials lying here and there, excessive material issued from the warehouse. Even the job is done, but no proper closing. Even the safety shoes are there, but they're not feeling well, so safety shoes are, even I found this chappal, we call it no safety shoes at all actually. And mostly I noted in the night shift, or because some of the projects you try your level best at the night shift, mostly customers are not watching you more closely, and even your management is not available, so people have tendency to be more careless, especially at the night shift. And I noted they don't like bother about, might be some loose boards or some uneven floors are there, might be the extension boards are not safer, or they found some naked cables lying here and there, or certain leaks and spills are there from the crane, from the forklift, and they're not taking it serious at all. That is why, OSHA is helping us in walking and working surfaces rules, because according to according to OSHA, the workers, whoever is exposed to walking and work surface hazard can result in slips, trips, falls, and other injuries or fatalities. That is why still it's being claimed, the fall is the #1 cause of fatalities globally. Now, what is confined space? Yesterday, you remember we discussed this topic. What is your understanding? What is confined space?
Confined space is the limited access and aggregate. The area is not continue for the human occupancy.
Excellent. Okay. Brilliant, mashallah. A place which is not designed for human occupancy or have limited or restricted means for entry or exit. And can you give some examples of confined spaces?
Confined space
Yeah, examples.
is more than 1.2 meter.
Okay, the excavated or
Example
the
of
trench
more
deeper
than
than 1 point.
1 point.
Okay.
Yes, this is confined space like manhole, pipe, refill tanks.
Excellent,
These all
mashallah.
are confined space. Silos.
Like manholes, wells, tunnels, even some, storage tanks.
Right, sir.
Even the walls and open ditches we have in certain, and especially at the construction site, the underground pipelines, or the storage areas underground actually built and through tanks or maybe through concrete even.
Right, sir.
So all are considered confined spaces. And in oil and gas, this all process vessels or pipelines or sewers, or I would say the boilers in different industries being used. Even I would say the ventilation ducts, because they are also in closed spaces. Okay, guys, can we just identify some of the hazards of scaffolding as per your experience, please?
Fall is the common hazard. The main hazard is the falls, and scaffoldings should be have the trained persons for the those who involved into the work. They should have to be trained and certified to work above the 1.8 meter heights.
Okay.
Should we have the fall protection and those who are erection and dismantling should we have the 30 certified
Share lang nito ba kanina?
certified peoples,
Okay.
and there is a tax red, green, and yellow.
So that means, as per your understanding, I can summarize. That means the fall is the number one hazard of scaffolding and collapse. And fall means can be human, can be tools, materials, and it can happen because of lack of fall prevention system, not implemented, or might be poor scaffolding assembling or erection, by the untrained people, and some of the electrical hazards can also be considered sometimes. But major only two hazards, fall and collapse. So fall, of course, we have certain kind of fall protection systems, but how we have to prevent from collapse, a lot of things need to be considered, starting from the floor level or floor strength, then sill boards and sole boards and base plates and standards are posed, the quality of all the materials, all your planks or toe boards or kind of your guardrails, and even angle of your scaffolding. And most importantly, you need to consider even the wind speed. That means environmental aspects and impacts.
Magsisend lang siya ng email sa email.
Okay, so exit routes. I hope you have already some clear understanding on the evacuation map. The exit routes must be well defined, and there must be some evacuation drills also, because practice makes a man perfect, right? Can
Right,
you
sir.
just elaborate some of the hazards associated with crane or any other heavy equipments? Let's take an example of crane hazards,
Suspended loads
Okay.
and second is the heavy wind also.
Exactly, the wind speed, yes. Like
Yes,
about 32
and,
kilometer per hour. Same like a
right,
scaffolding
sir.
65 kilometer per hour. And also sometimes we miscalculate
Yes,
the
sir.
crane capacity, like we are trying to lift a heavier load comparing to crane's capacity.
Right, sir.
And toppling over, tipping over, mechanical failure, hydraulic pneumatic systems are there. So there is a possibility of
Yes.
some other mechanical failures as well. And overhead power
Right,
lines,
sir.
untrained
Yeah, overhead power line.
or uncertified crane operators.
Yes.
So for each segment of your construction industry, basically you just need to work on three important words: how to identify hazards related to that particular process, task, activity, or in other words, the equipment or the material. And once you are capable to identify the hazards, then hierarchy of control must be in your mind, how to control these hazards.
Right, sir.
And the last one, mashallah, you all understand the set of PPs or the administrative rules also in terms of precautions and SOPs and kind of toolbox meetings, and all comes under administrative controls,
Yes, sir.
So you can be the best safety leaders, best safety manager if you only understand how to identify the hazards and calculate the risk probability of against these hazards, and you know technically how to propose and implement some effective control, against these hazards. You are the best. And of course, some skills you required as a technical report writer, because after all, you need to report also to the management, to the customer, to other regulatory bodies, right?
Right, sir.
Because sometimes you know the work, you are doing excellent job, but you are very poor in technical report writing. You don't know how to report actually. On the other side, you are doing your job honestly and with better intention, and your goodwill is excellent. But unfortunately, you are unable to work as a manager because you are poor in technical report writing or preparing some PPTs, the performance to highlight your HSC system performance in front of your top management.
Right, sir.
Now, some PPs also have some hazards. Can we just elaborate here some of the hazards associated with the PPs?
PP is some of people's it is defected PP, like
Excellent.
some people's
Okay.
are making holes or in the helmet that is not acceptable also. Or
Mhm.
as per not design, as per not standard for the ANCI.
Okay.
Yes, and this is only for for example of the helmet. It is only you can maximum you can use the 5 years, not
Mhm.
not more than 5 years. Mostly is the damaged PP and
Yeah.
unstandard as per not the ANCI.
Excellent, mashallah. So imagine sometime you provided PPs, but they are not wearing is a hazard. Sometime you provided PPs, but they don't know how to wear it. This is another hazard. And yes, I agree, unapproved or any PP is not suitable or appropriate as per the nature of the job, of course, is a hazard also. And because of these hazards, we can have plenty of associated risk or kind of hazards like burns, cuts, electrical shock, amputation, and absorption of chemicals. Like if you're not using the appropriate gloves and you are dealing with different chemicals, how it can affect your skin, even to your lungs, if you're not using the right respirator. Same way, have you ever heard the word HAZCOM? What is HAZCOM? We call it hazard communication.
Yes, has it come?
Okay, so hazard communication means the system itself should talk to me. Like if you have a chemical storage area, the chemicals should talk to me through their labels, through the poster you displayed within that area, you know, through their,
Yes.
like if you are working with Saudi Aramco, the CHB, Chemical Hazard Bulletin, should talk to me against each type of chemical. And same way, if CHB is not available, now we must have SDS against every chemical, like safety data sheet, or I would call TDS also, technical data sheet. The more knowledge we will have about chemicals, the more safer employees we would be, right?
Sure.
It's a kind of, that means, imagine if you have a water bottle, but inside, even the label is talking, this is water. But inside, if you have thinner, and the communication is that the bottle is a water bottle, means you have inside the water. But unfortunately, there is a thinner. And sometimes you have chemical A, but label is showing B. Sometimes you have label, but the ink is faded, you can't read it actually.
Right, sir.
That means sometimes the wrong labeling, or sometimes the label not having the required set of information from the manufacturer. That means confused information on the label. So all are hazards, if that has come program is not implemented with accuracy, a lot of danger zone will be created, in our organization, even at our project site. Because the purpose of hazard communication program is just to inform employees, not only employees, even anyone is visiting that area, of the hazards associated with chemicals in their workplace. Because the chemical hazard, we all know chemical can be in form of solid, in form of liquid, in form of gas as well. Like yesterday we discussed about H2S. H2S is a chemical, but in form of gas, in form of colorless gas, we can't see H2S with our open eyes, right? Now, do you have understanding as per Saudi Aramco or as per OSHA, what is the minimum and maximum level of oxygen? Even yesterday we discussed.
To 23.5.
Okay. Maximum is 23.5% and minimum
19.5%.
as per OSHA, and as per Saudi Aramco
20% to 23.5%.
excellent, mashallah. Great. Great. Mashallah, you have plenty of knowledge, so this is how you can share with all colleagues and whoever is working with you. And this is how we build a team, and they'll be great supporter for sure, inshallah. Because sometimes, what happened, you as a front leader, if you are not sharing knowledge, then the positive trickle down effect will be missing, and ultimately it will be damaging your job as well. But you will not realize until you face some difficulties. That is why it is important to train all the employees, for the sake of company brand value, and for the sake of their safety also. H2SPL, yesterday we discussed. I'm just, refreshing our knowledge, whatever we discussed yesterday. H2SPL, permissible exposure limit. What is that?
H2S is the colorless gas. We call to the hydrogen sulfide. The PPE is the permissible explosive limit.
Okay.
Should be when we are going to the work in the environment of the H2S area, there is chance to be present H2S. Should be, there is not allowed to be hot work activity. If there is a hot work, should we have the LEL is 0%.
Excellent, mashallah. Okay.
This is H2S is a very deadly gas. It is a harm to the people. If minimum is as per the standard of the Aramco is the 10 ppm.
Yeah, below 10 ppm
is acceptable.
Yeah, for 8 hours.
Sorry, below 2. Yes, for 8 hours. And 100 ppm is the IDLH.
Okay.
And 1000 ppm is the deadly. The people can dead within the minutes.
Excellent, mashallah. So that means below 10 ppm for 8 hours, 10 to 20, we need special permissions and SCABA and SABA, and Above than 20 or at 20, no work actually. And what
Right,
is
sir.
the LEL of H2S?
4.3, sir.
Excellent. And UEL?
UAL 46%.
Brilliant, mashallah. Excellent. And auto ignition temperature, did I discuss yesterday the auto ignition temperature of H2S?
No, sir.
Yeah, 260 degrees Celsius and 500
Yes,
Fahrenheit.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, you tell, sir, 260 degrees.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent, mashallah. Now, carbon monoxide, permissible exposure limits.
Below 35 ppm.
Below 35 ppm. Excellent, mashallah. That means 35 to 1000 ppm, we need SCABA or SABA, and 1002 onward, no entry.
Right, sir.
Okay, so LEL, permissible exposure limit. Okay, like you mentioned earlier, above 0% LEL, first of all, no hot work. That must be in our mind. Now,
And below 5% is cold work can do.
yes, okay.
Yes.
And without SCABA for 8 hours.
Yes,
But
sir.
5 to 10%, if we still want to work, even it's a cold work, so we need SCABA, we need special permissions or kind of counter signatures in.
Yes, sir.
And 10% to onward, no entry.
No interest. Yeah.
Now, what is maximum inner temperature of our body? In Saudi Aramco, you will have see this heat stress plan. And this heat stress plan, basically, this is the crux of that plan. Based on that inner temperature, we calculate, how, under what temperature, what rules we need to implement. So our employees can feel some safer conditions, at the site.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you remember
Actually,
37 degrees
yeah.
Celsius?
It is there 28 degree to 39, 29 degree to 39 degree.
Yeah, this is
It
kind
is
of a normal range, like 1 hour
normal
work.
range. Yeah. 39 to 49. It is extreme dangers.
Excellent. Okay.
We should have to be take every 30 minutes, 10-minute break, or
Brilliant.
every 15 minutes, one cup penalty of water.
Great, mashallah.
Above 52 degree heat index, it should be have to be take more precautions.
Excellent, mashallah. Now, this is just an example. If the accident graph of any company is going up and up year by year, a time will come, this company will lose all the contracts and very bad goodwill would be there in the market. Like if in 2019, your accidents, God forbid, you have 10 accidents, 2020, you have 15 accidents, and in 2021, you have 20 accidents, God forbid. So that data is showing that you are a very irresponsible company. And no customer will be willing to work with. No more contracts, mostly. That is why it is important to understand different kind of hazards normally we face. Yesterday, I hope we discussed, or because as per, I just took these two slides from Saudi Aramco theories because they have guided us very straightforwardly, categorically about hazards. Like they made two types, like safety hazards and health hazards. And under each type, they gave some categories like safety hazards is like kind of electrical, gravity, mechanical motion and pressure. And certain examples are there, like under electrical, we have power lines, transformers, static charges, lightning, energized equipment, wiring and batteries. And then we have crane lifting operations under gravity, excavation and falling object, collapsing roof and a body tripping or falling. Mechanical rotating shaft, belts, pulleys, all comes under mechanical, and motion means the vehicle, vessels or equipment movement, even flowing wind and body positioning when lifting, straining or bending. And they also mention pressure hazard, especially for oil and gas industry, like pressure piping, compressed gas cylinders are there, control lines, vessels, tanks, hoses, pneumatic and hydraulic equipment. So examples can be so many, but we must be capable to link that example along with the category, like it comes under safety hazard or health hazard. If it comes under safety hazard, under which category, like electrical, gravity, mechanical motion or pressure. And the definition of safety hazard is anything which have adverse impact on your safety. Adverse impact on your safety. Same way we have health hazard. Anything that can have adverse impact on your health is called health hazard. And under health hazards, again, they made 5 categories like biological, chemical, radiation, noise and vibration, temperature. So if we can understand and can remember these 10 words hazard circle, we can be a better hazards recognizer, because you will just visit any site and these 10 words should be circulating in your mind and automatically you will see a lot of examples. Just the point is you need to learn how to link each example with the category, like if like coronavirus is a hazard, but is an example of a hazard, comes under biological hazard. Because animals, bacteria, viruses, insects, bloodborne pathogens, improperly handled food and contaminated water. These all comes under biological, all examples. Same way, the chemical means it can be corrosive dust or like if abrasive blasting is going on, it can be in shape of dust, fumes, gases, mist, vapors, liquids, hydrocarbon solvents and lead, etc. Same way the radiation, like lightning issues, welding arcs, solar rays, microwaves, lasers, X-rays, and even NORM, naturally occurring radioactive materials. Noise and vibration, that is another category because it comes under health hazards. Equipment noise, there could be impact noise, vibration, high pressure release, and the impact of noise to communication. And under health hazard, the last category is temperature, and could be open flames, sparks, hot or cold substance, liquid or gases, stream, friction, even general environmental and weather conditions. So all these categories comes under health hazards. Now we can have some quick exercise like how to spot the hazards. Like let's take an example of this picture. What do you think? Is there any electrical hazard or mechanical or gravity or motion or pressure or any health hazards?
The crane positions,
Okay.
electrical cable,
Uh-huh.
there is machinery,
Okay.
a spark also, sir.
Brilliant, mashallah. So that means gravity hazard is there, pressure hazard is there, mechanical, electrical, even gravity. So all
Yes, sir.
5 safety hazards are there, but health hazards through this picture, it is hard to identify because we, like if we say, oh, a noise level is there, but how much is the noise level? What is the decibel? Is it above than 85 decibel? Because we need to measure, we need to monitor, right? Same way, if we're gonna say some fumes are there, or some toxic fumes are being generated through this process or within this workshop, again, we need to measure actually. We need to check with some monitor to identify either it is under legal permissible limits or violating any legal limits. Let's take another example. Quite visible, electrical hazard is there. Take another example. Different kind of unsafe facts and unsafe condition.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Look at this ladder. The steps are broken. The ladder is short because 1 meter should be from the top. And
Yes.
foot is not secure. Even the gentleman is smoking as well. And no PPs, no helmet, no gloves, nothing. Look at this forklift and even the shortcuts.
Yes, sir.
Manual handling, the lifting is not as per the standard. And look at this lady because manhole is there. Even slip, strips and fall hazard, oil spillage for certain order. No proper tools, management or storage. So overall, such kind of situations are unacceptable. That is why sometimes the safety department, they have strong fight with the operation department because safety want to stop the job to correct things immediately on the spot. But operation department, they don't want to stop any process, because they believe we are the revenue department. Yes, you are the revenue department, but don't kill people. Don't make money by killing people, right? Take another example. Even the fire exit door is blocked. Look at this gentleman. Another hero is there. Under suspended load. Even the top leadership is enjoying.
Yes.
Overweight lifting, and look at this shortcut. Another example of shortcut. Busy on the phone. Take another example. Is it a right way to lift a box?
No, sir.
Okay, so how it should be?
It should be one hand in the bottom.
Okay. Okay, good. And look at the waste management and floor damage, no label, on the chemicals, or look at another picture. So wherever you are visiting, just you need to create a picture in your mind and think about 10 different categories of hazards, and immediately you will identify what is going wrong, what kind of hazards are there. Take another example. One more. Accumulative unsafe conditions and acts. No respect to the safety rules and regulations. Spillage is there, fire exit door is blocked, no smoking means still smoking, hard hat area not being respected. She likes bike poster instead of safety poster. Cables unguarded, guard is there, but she's not using it actually. Oil spillage, poor manual handling or lifting. So let me just give you some of the informations about OSHA, why OSHA is important to you actually, because OSHA began because until 1970, there were no national laws for safety and health hazards. Why USA, United States of America, created this OSHA department is a legal department of USA. But because their standards, their regulations are quite comprehensive, so other countries are also respecting, and especially Saudi Arabia, they have strong alliance with America from the day one, the moment Saudi Arabia was invented or formed. From that day one, the first company, the geological company, was hired for inventing oil and gas was Americans actually. That is why they have more strong alliance with USA, because they believe without USA, Saudi Arabia would not have any success. That's what they believe. And mostly the American brands, they have businesses in Saudi Arabia, and wherever you have American brand, they will definitely, request you to follow OSHA regulations. On average, OSHA valued at 15 workers die every day from the job injuries in USA. Over 5,600 Americans die from workplace injuries annually, and over 4 million non-fatal workplace injuries and illnesses are reported. So this is the situation of America, and still incidents are happening, still accidents are happening. But of course, they are putting more and more rules and regulations. Now, the history of OSHA, a little bit I can explain here, because OSHA stands for the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, an agency of the US Department of Labor. OSHA's responsibility is worker safety and health protection. And on December 29, 1970, President Nixon, he signed the OSHA Act. And this act created OSHA, the agency, which formally came into action in April 28, 1971. So great experience they have. Now, what is OSHA's mission? The mission is, as usual, like other departments, safety departments of each country, to prevent injuries and protect the health of America's workers, because OSHA is a legal department, I told you, for USA, all 50 states. So it is, all the regulations are formed first to save Americans. The other countries are not bound to follow OSHA regulations, but if they follow, of course, they can get plenty of benefits. But wherever American alliances are more stronger, that country is respecting a lot about OSHA. Like in Saudi Arabia, mostly training business, we are getting in OSHA 30 hours instead of IOSH managing safely or some others. Even though still IOSH is acceptable to Saudi Aramco along with OSHA, and even NIBOSH, IGC or some other qualifications along with CSP or ASP. So that means American and UK based qualifications mostly are acceptable to Saudi Aramco. But yes, some of the things OSHA does to carry out its missions are developing job safety and health standards and enforcing them through work site inspections. They are fully authorized to inspect, maintaining a reporting and record keeping system to keep track of job related injuries and illnesses, and providing training programs to increase knowledge about occupational safety and health. Yes, under OSHA regulations, you have right to a safe and healthy, healthful workplace, know about hazardous chemicals, information about injuries and illnesses in your workplace, complain or request hazard correction for employees. These are your rights actually. Training is your legal right in America. Hazard exposure and medical record. File a complaint with OSHA if you are facing that any issue with the employer, like they are not providing you PPs, you can complain to OSHA. You are feeling unsafe within that company, you can complain to OSHA. If you are facing any accident, God forbid, you can complain to OSHA individually from your side. And you can also participate in an OSHA inspection, be free from retaliation for exercising safety and health rights. Now, safe and healthful workplace is a kind of creation of OSHA provided workers the right to safe and healthful workplace under section. So there are now certain sections, which help us to understand in America as per which OSHA Act, what is the responsibility of employer or even the employees. Like section 5A1 of the OSHA Act states, each employer shall furnish to each of his employees employment and a place of employment which are free from recognized hazards, like we discussed earlier. that are causing or are likely to cause death or serious physical harm to his employees. Unlike in Saudi Arabia or in other Middle East countries, trust me, we the employees don't know about our rights. Let me give an example. If a person is became deaf because of highly noisy environment, because of noise and vibration of that particular company, and the company didn't provide the right set of earplugs or earmuffs, and the person became deaf. Now, if he filed the case like in the court against that company, there are a lot of chances he will win that case. And if the employee won that case, might be the fine would be in $1 million. I hope you got the point. Because they know their rights, but in our Middle East companies or Middle East countries, mostly employees, they don't know about their rights, and that is the reason businesses are still getting a lot of hidden benefits. Because we as an employee don't know our rights, we don't know which of the departments are reliable. We can approach them, we can tell them, oh, we are feeling unsafe within that business. And again, job security is one of the killing factor for all of us. Know about hazardous chemicals. Employees must have a written complete hazard communication program, like I discussed about HAZCOM, that includes information like container label. This is our legal right. And also employees responsibility, material safety data sheet and worker training must be there, along with set of procedures, and make sure it is well implemented to protect workers, especially for the work practice, emergency procedures and PPs. Now, information about injuries and illnesses. OSHA record keeping rule requires most employers with more than 10 workers to keep a log of injuries and illnesses. So unreported cases or the cases which are not recorded are not acceptable as per OSHA regulations. That is why it is clearly mentioned OSHA's record keeping rule requires most employees with more than 10 workers to keep a log of injuries and illnesses. Now, workers have the right to review the current log as well as the log stored for the past 5 years. Workers also have the right to view the annually posted summary of the injuries and illnesses like OSHA 308. Workers may bring up safety and health concerns in the workplace to their employers without fear of discharge or discrimination, as long as the complaint is made in good faith. Under OSHA regulations 29 CFR 1977.9C, protect workers who complain to their employer about unsafe or unhealthful conditions in the workplace. So that means for each segment, for each material, for each rule, we have to find out the OSHA reference. We can't remember everything. So whenever we face, like we are building or we are going to purchase a ladder, so no harm to find out which OSHA regulation belong to ladders. So we can get some information from there before we buy any ladder, Or if we want to know how to inspect a ladder, how OSHA is guiding us, immediately we can go on their website or even via Google, we can find out the exact reference and study a little bit, and we will have clear idea how to manage that ladder safety, I hope you got the point. If there is a material, any process or anything relevant to business, you want to know about safety structure, go and find out OSHA reference, study that code or standard, and immediately you will have clear idea. Same like we are studying right now. Like training is your right. Workers have a right to get training from the employer on a variety of health and safety hazards and standards that employees must follow. Like some required training covers topics such as lockout, tagout. This is your right to get that training. Bloodborne pathogens, this hepatitis A, B, C, or any kind of bacterial or virus infections. This kind of training must be given, like bloodborne pathogens, noise, confined spaces, fall hazards in construction. Like we discussed, what kind of fall hazards could be there, protective equipment, along with the variety of other subjects. Examine exposure and medical records as per 1910.1020 right to examine copy record, like examples of toxic substances and harmful physical agents, means metals and dust such as lead, cadmium and silica, biological agents such as bacteria, viruses and fungi, and physical stress such as noise, heat, cold, vibration, repetitive motion, and ionizing and non-ionizing radiation. We have right to examine the exposure and even to keep medical record. We can complain a file if we believe there is a violation of safety or health standard, or even workers may request that their name not to be revealed to the employer, so your name can also be kept secret. If a worker files a complaint, they have the right to find out OSHA's action on the complaint and request a review if an inspection is not made. Also, there must be an employee representative along with OSHA inspector. Yes, workers have right to talk privately to the inspector, and also they can point out certain different hazards, and also can describe injuries, illnesses, and near misses that resulted from those hazards. That means any of your concern related to health and safety of yourself, you can discuss to OSHA officials. Also, workers can find out about inspection results, abatement measures, and may object to dates set for violation to be corrected. Yes, it's your right to be free from retaliation. Like workers have the right to be free from retaliation for exercising safety and health rights. Workers have a right to seek safety and health on the job without fear of punishment. Without fear of punishment, like job security is a fear of punishment. Oh, if we will talk more about safety, they will terminate us. And this threat I noted, in several safety officers, supervisors, even the managers. This right is spelled out in section 11C of the OSHA Act, and workers have 30 days to contact OSHA if they feel they have been punished for exercising their safety and health rights. So we, in America, in USA, we must be familiar about our rights. And even other part of the world, no harm. Now, topic 3 is, well, what about responsibilities? What responsibility does your employer have under OSHA? Now, the employer, that means the businessman, provide a workplace free from recognized hazards. So, providing safe workplace or ensuring safe workplace is the responsibility of the employer first. And comply with OSHA standards. And to comply means they have to provide trainings for all these standards, keep records of injuries and illnesses, medical exams must be there, and keep exposure of your medical records, and also not discriminate against workers who exercise their rights under the Act section 11C. Post OSHA citation and abatement verification notices, provide and pay for PPs. This is employer's responsibility. So for reporting and recording checklist, employer must report each worker death. This is legally they are bound to report each incident that hospitalizes 3 or more workers. Maintain injury and illness record, that is another responsibility of the employer. Inform workers how to report an injury or illness. Make records available to workers, allow OSHA access to records, or post annual summary of the injuries and illnesses. So a lot of responsibilities comes at the shoulder of employer, especially in USA. Now, what do the OSHA standards say to us? OSHA's standards fall into 4 categories. Actually, we have general industry, construction industry, maritime, and agriculture. But mostly in Middle East, we are mostly delivering sessions for general industry and construction. But yes, they have two more categories like for maritime and agriculture. But OSHA issues standards for a wide variety of workplace hazards. That is why I told you, even if you put a hazard and you say for this hazard, what are the best controls as per OSHA standards? So you can find the references and the theories and the source of actions to control this hazard quite easily as per OSHA guidelines. Where there are no specific OSHA standards, employees must comply with the General Duty Clause, Section 5A(1). All these questions we covered already in our study. So how are OSHA inspections conducted? Under OSHA Act authorizes OSHA compliance, safety and health officers to conduct workplace inspection at reasonable times. OSHA conducts inspections without advance note. That means undeclared, unannounced inspection date would be there actually, except in rare circumstances like e.g. imminent danger. In fact, anyone who tells an employer about an OSHA inspection in advance can receive fines and a jail term, of course. So there are some OSHA inspection priorities, like first priority mean imminent danger is there. Second priority, fatality or catastrophic. Third is complaints and referrals, and fourth is programmed inspections. So according to the priority, they will take action. Yes, the citation and penalties are there. Willful violation, serious, other than serious, repeated, there are certain fines from OSHA. Like if willful is there, a violation that employer intentionally or knowingly commits, $70,000 for each willful violation will be there, with a minimum penalty of $5,000 for each willful violation. And for serious, it is like 7,000, and for other than serious, up to 7,000. That means less than 7,000 would also be there. Repeated violation, OSHA may propose penalties up to 70,000 for each repeated violation. Now, where can you go for help? Sources within the workplace or work site, sources outside the workplace, work site, or how to file an OSHA complaint. So let's discuss sources within the workplace, work site. Employees or supervisors, co-workers and union representatives. Material safety data sheet, labels, warning signs, employee orientation, work task and procedure instructions. These are some sources at the workplace. Outside, you can go to OSHA website, www.osha.gov, and OSHA offices, you can call or write. Compliance assistant specialists in the area offices, National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, like NIOSH. OSHA's sister agency is there. OSHA Training Institute, education centers are there. Doctors, nurses, other healthcare providers. Public libraries, other local community-based resources. These are some of the external sources for knowledge. How are we gonna file a complaint? We can download the OSHA 7 form from OSHA website. File the complaint online. Workers can file a complaint. A worker representative can file a complaint. Telephone or visit local, regional, or area office to discuss your concerns. Complete the form. Be specific. Include appropriate details. OSHA determines if an inspection is necessary. Workers do not have to reveal their name. So this is how OSHA is supporting to keep their Americans safe, or in all 50 states of America, especially in occupational health and safety, especially in the industries, So the summary of this section is all about, we discuss about the importance of OSHA and the history of safety and health regulations leading to the creation of OSHA and OSHA's mission. We discuss about workers' rights under OSHA, employees' responsibilities, OSHA standards, inspections, and of course, health and safety resources, including how to file a complaint. So in summary, we can make it more easier that we understood, as per OSHA regulations, what are the employees' responsibilities, what are our responsibilities, what are our rights, we also understood, and most importantly, what kind of documentation is involved to file a complaint, like OSHA Form 7, we can fill online and complain. And we also understood this OSHA department is made especially to keep USA employees more safer in the industries. But other countries, of course, they can also get some benefit by implementing OSHA regulations. And especially wherever we have American brands, mostly they will suggest and propose us to follow OSHA regulations. Because as an American, they are still bound to follow. So these are some of the reportings, like, let's take one example. Like, employees were laying sewer pipe in a trench, 15 feet deep was there. The sides of the trench, 4 feet wide at the bottom and 15 feet wide at the top, were not shored. That means no shoring was there, no sloping, no benching, no shielding, or protected to prevent a cave-in. As they attempted to leave the trench, there was a small cave-in covering one employee to his ankles. When the other employee went to his co-worker's aid, another cave-in occurred covering him to his waist. So this is how we can report what exactly happened, and just as a brief description, these are some of the examples. Now in construction industry, we must be more capable to identify the hazards. Like look at the picture. And I want your opinion. What do you think? What is the visible hazard you believe is there? Yes, guys. What is the hazard as per this picture?
This is our confined space, head bomb, not proper access.
Okay. That means potential crushing hazard from the overhead boulder and no protective system in this excavation, right?
Right side.
Now recognize any hazard here. Look at where they are standing. Look at the material shapes. Look at the forklift, how they are lifting and the height of the material and the way they are standing in between.
Yeah. Yes.
So the hazards are caught in hazards occur when a worker could be caught inside of or in between different objects, right? So this is the terrible hazard here. Now take another example. You see what we have studied, all the moving parts must be guarded, right?
Yes, no guardrails.
So unguarded belt and pulley, workers can get hand or other clothing caught in running nip points. Take another example.
Pinch point.
Take another example.
Pinch point.
Look at this picture. So gloves, long sleeve shirts, jewelry or loose fitting clothing can be hazardous if caught in moving parts.
Right,
That is
sir.
why sometimes we have no jewelry policy,
Yes.
no wristwatch, no rings, nothing. Look at another picture.
This is also confined space, no proper access.
Okay, yesterday I think we missed, this debris. How far we have to keep this?
60 centimeters, sir.
Excellent, mashallah. Excellent. So what are the hazards? Workers in an unprotected vertical wall trench, like pipe work is going on, is exposed to being totally engulfed by the trench if it is collapsed. No, even ladder at the end of the trench, no protective system is used, like no shoring, no sloping, no benching, no shielding, nothing. Next to a residential structure also, because the residential structure is very near to that. That's another hazard.
Right.
Now, recognize any hazard in this picture.
Unsafe act.
Okay. So what is unsafe act? Truck box not blocked, first of all. Do not work between the frame and dump box of a dump truck.
Right, sir.
Take another picture. Recognize any hazard.
Too close to the vehicles.
Yeah. So employee could be caught between track of dozer and wall.
Yes, sir.
One more picture. Recognize any hazard.
The materials in the edge.
Okay, so it's a crane booms that are not adequately supported when the pins are removed during dismantling. That means do not work under the truss boom during dismantling.
Right.
Take another picture, please. Identify the hazard.
The sewing is not properly.
Mhm.
It is chance to be hit.
Okay.
No flagman are there.
Mhm. So the racking ball is loosely attached to the arm, could come loose and strike operator's cap. And also a worker could be caught between the racking ball and the dumpster.
Right, sir.
Take another example.
Creeping hazard. Poor housekeeping.
So unstable footing on scaffold by using concrete block. Even I agree with you, unsafe condition, looking the material doesn't look qualitative.
Right.
The surface is not leveled properly.
Right.
Take another picture.
Ladders.
So no employee shall permit a worker to work in such proximity to any part of an electric power circuit that the worker could contact the electric power circuit in the course of work. Even the ladder size is
Right.
short.
Yes, sir.
Take another picture, another example, because these are the challenges we normally face in construction industries,
Right.
Look at,
Cabin.
yeah. So what is the issue? Crossing electrical
Flap.
line. See the electrical lines.
Right.
Crossing electrical line must be supported, protected, or removed to safeguard workers. Take another picture. Because
Not
these
proper.
are unsafe acts or unsafe conditions normally we observe at the construction sites.
Right, sir.
Supplies electrical extension cords should be marked, do not use, also bad housekeeping, trip hazard, and unprotected hole in photograph. So this is our job, we will create a picture in our mind and we'll identify what can go wrong or what is the hazard, and associated risk calculation must also be, we have to be able to calculate the chances or the probability. Look at another picture. No GFCI. GFCI means ground force circuit interrupter.
Yes.
System not grounded. Openings where conductors entered not closed. No cover on boxes. Panel boards were not dead front. Take another picture. And these
Damaged
are
code.
real examples,
No
So
plan.
electrical drill, flexible cord was supplies to a non-flexible. Look at this one. Conductor with damaged insulation. One more picture.
Overhead power line.
Mhm. But most importantly, the scaffold was erected 4.5 feet from 7.2 kV. 1 kV is equal to 1000 volts.
1000 watts.
So 7.2 kV power lines, and this is what the distance they kept. Recognize any hazard here. Continuous path to ground not maintained, multiple codes used for fixed equipment. Even the condition of the code is not good enough. Take another example. These realities at the construction project sites, we think is quite normal. It is acceptable. And we believe employees have tendency, to do these silly things, and sometimes, they will take certain shortcuts. They will not inform you. Instead, they will hide, just to keep their job continued.
All right.
Employer was operating a stand fan without grounding protection. Another example, conductors entering boxes, cabinets, or fittings shall be protected from abrasion. Openings through which conductors enter shall be effectively closed. One more example. The issue is flexible cords and cables may pass through doorways or other pinch points if protection is provided to avoid damage. Okay, so this is enough for the day. So tomorrow we will cover a few more topics, and I'll share with you one draft exam, like kind of exam preparation. We'll just ask 10 questions with true, false, or multiple choices.
Okay,
And that would be like open book, home base. You can complete your exam and just make sure it's your work, not copied by anyone else.